talked before about Zeiss cameras, in particular the Netta cameras, the folding cameras, which are good quality, if a little bit dull in design, but they produce good photographs. In the 1950s there was a lot of competition for cameras, and there were some good British cameras. One of the manufacturing companies for British cameras was a company called AGI, and they were based in Croydon and produced a range of cameras, including an Agifold folding camera. And this on the surface looks like an Agifold folding camera. They had almost an Art Deco design, and what was quite clever about the design is it's got a rangefinder, not coupled, but it has a rangefinder, and it has something called an extinction light meter. Now, when I open up this camera, all is not what it might at first seem. So it looks like an Agifold, but when I unfold it, instead of the Agi lens and shutter, and one of the weaknesses with the Agifolds are the shutter. They put on a sort of British designed shutter, which to be honest doesn't always work. And what someone's done on this camera is replaced the British lens with a Novar Lens. So they've actually got a Zeiss camera, I think, and taken the lens and shutter off and placed it on this camera. Now, when I bought this, I thought really interesting, and it's been done extremely well, because if you didn't know about the history of cameras, you would buy this and you would assume it's a complete camera. It actually looks like a factory produced camera, but it can't be. They never made a Agifold with a Novar lens. You just wouldn't do it. So this has obviously been done, I think, by a camera repairer, but it's been done extremely well. And to use, it's very straightforward. You load the film, the back comes off completely. You load the film through the back here, you wind on. You've got your extinction meter here. Extinction meters are a little bit odd to use. You get a number when you look through the window here, and you take the lowest number and you can read off there. I don't find that they particularly work, so I'm inclined to use the Sunny 16 rule. But the rangefinder on here, that works brilliantly. So that still is working extremely well. So I can read off. I've got 3 feet for me to the lamp, so I can read off there and set my 3 feet on my lens here. My lens is set in feet, which is interesting. And then I can set my shutter speed, which goes from bulb up to 300th of a second. And the lens here is nice because it's a 4.5 lens, so it's a moderately fast lens. So focus, aperture, set shutter, click. And again, what's really nice is whoever's done this conversion has linked the mechanism here with the shutter. Well, how did I get on? Well, let's look at the photographs I took. The first photo I took on this camera was at Durlston Castle near Swanage, and it was a very bright day, and I was pleased about the sharpness. As I said, I was questioning before I used the camera how sharp it was going to be, but it is very sharp and clear. It was easy to use. As I said, this was a very bright sunny day. Durlston Castle has recently been done up with quite a lot of money spent on it. It was originally built by someone called George Molan in about 1900, and it's a strange part of Swanage. I say strange, it's a very interesting part. He built it as a sort of tourist destination, and it's built from local Purbeck stone and brick, and in the grounds you've got some rather strange objects, which I will reveal later. But how is the camera performing? It's performing absolutely fine. I'm using 4-100 here, and I have developed it in ID 11 diluted 1:1 for 10 minutes. As I said, there's some strange things at this place, and here we have an enormous stone globe, and around this globe are sayings and bits of poetry. Again, the detail is absolutely fine. I was pleased how the camera picked up the detail, and the contrast is fine. It's a very easy camera to use, and the rangefinder was really useful because focusing in a place like this, you want those letters to be sharp, and the rangefinder enabled me to find out exactly how far away the globe was. As I said, sometimes I find I don't have the camera quite straight enough. I was pleased, as I said, with the contrast between dark and light. It was absolutely fine there. The lens seems to be clear. There didn't seem to be any fungus, and I was delighted that there didn't seem to be any light leaks. I do find the Agiflexes on the whole don't leak light. But the downside of the normal Agifold camera is the shutter. Now we have here the benefit of a German shutter, and the shutter was absolutely reliable as I would expect, and the Novar Lens is well up to the job. So this is a fascinating camera to use because it's a combination of, I think, the best of British and the best of German. We've got a nice design, we've got the extinction meter and the rangefinder, but we have a really decent lens. I think one problem in post-war Britain was there was just a shortage of lenses, believe it or not, and there was a shortage of quality lenses. There were some good lenses, but they were just difficult to get hold of. So again, what I was really pleased about this Ho film, I think I managed out of, it's a 120 film, so you only get 12 shots, but I think I got 12 out of 12. Here we are at Stinsford Church in Dorset. Again, it's a venue, a place I have photographed many times, as some of you might recognise, and photographing it many times, it's good because I get an idea of, I can compare different cameras. And again, I'm really pleased with the contrast here, and the viewfinder was very accurate. What I saw through the viewfinder is what I got. Now, normally I say look out for one of these cameras. I doubt you would find one, but you never know what you are going to find out there. This I bought on eBay, really pleased with it, something a bit different. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.